Any idea? Any suggestion?
They are the same.
My edit ribbon has an extra button. What is it?
I can't find it. I see.
Oh, it's a very big button.
Really?
It says edit again.
Yes, it says edit
And
again.
bottom edit.
I have an extra button than the one you have, which is edit. And then when I stand on it, I have this hint, which is enable editing. Why don't you have that button?
Depending on the device, your device
No.
have pens.
This is the new default for ArcGIS Pro. Okay, in later in older versions, when we were still working with ArcMap, ArcMap had something called the edit session, and it has a different toolbar, and every the start of the toolbar says start edit session or close edit session or end edit session. So we always had to, if I want to make an edit, I have to click on start an edit session and we start editing. ArcGIS Pro think in a different way, and in this different way, they think if you are already on the edit toolbar, you are basically in an edit session. So if I go here and just click edit, I'm already in an edit session, and whatever I'm going to choose and work with, I am editing the data. And that if I move outside of that ribbon to something else, it should end the edit session. It's not 100% foolproof from my point of view. Maybe I'm a bit old school. So I always enable the edit session. It's not hard. You can just go here into editing options. You see the small square here. Just click on it and it will open the options. And this is actually the options for the ArcGIS Pro, and it opens on editing. Okay, in editing you'd find one of the options is called session, and in session I click on enable and disable editing from the edit tab. Okay, yes, Munir?
I'm sorry, but how did you open the map?
How do I open the options?
No, the map.
How do what?
How did you hide your domains and your attribute table?
How did I hide what?
Hide
the domain, the attribute table down.
Yeah, how did you remove it?
I just closed it.
I can't close it, I think.
No, you can. Everyone can close it. So, okay, you have the attribute table, right?
Yeah.
There is a small cross here.
Oh, I can just.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Click and it's closed.
Perfect. Thank you.
We can actually do it to anything. I can go to the map and actually close it, but that's a big hassle, so I'm not going to do that. But I just going to close it, and if I want to open it again, I can come here to maps in the catalog and right click, and this is the map that I'm working with. Right now it's called map. I can choose to call it a different name if I wish, but anyway, it's just map for now.
Thank you.
Okay, so what we're talking about now is how to add that button. It's your option. For me, as I said, I'm a bit of an old school, and I like to have control, absolute control, that I'm starting an edit session or closing it. So we go to options, editing options here, click, I am in editing, and those are the options. We have general, session, annotation, and symbology. I go to session and I click to enable or disable editing from the toolbar. Just click on it and it will add this button. We can also check other options like the symbology. Some people like, this is how the vertices that we're working with looks like. So maybe some people like different colors. Maybe some people have some form of a color blindness. They don't see a certain color well, so they want to choose a different color. They want something bigger or something like that. The icons of the vertices to be a bit bigger or something like that. So you can change it from here. Also how the control points look like, it's the same. How the segments is being drawn, also we can basically we can choose the symbology of the editing features. So whatever we're editing, we're adding vertices, or we're drawing a line, whether the line is for a street or for a polygon. This is how it would look like while we are editing, and we can choose to make it more presentable or more apparent to us so that we can't get confused. So whatever options we choose, we can make it, and once we're done, just click OK, and we're done with the editing options. Okay. Another option we have is the settings. This, if you click on it, this will open different settings altogether. So this is the settings, and everything, it starts with the snapping. Okay. And it tells us the tolerance. Now tolerance is in pixels. We can choose to make the tolerance in map units if we wish for. We can make it in map units if we want. We can snap to a sketch. So if there is a sketch we are drawing and we want to snap the snapping to work on that sketch, we just click on it so the snapping works on that sketch. So that's an option. We can move in a grid. We can actually make it so that we can see a grid on the map if we wish for it to work with, but there is a grid nonetheless, although it's invisible, but the grid is there that we can work with it. It makes things a bit easier. Show constraints, but we can ignore show constraints now. Yeah, user interface. User interface depends on how you're going to draw, what you're going to see in the interface. Once we start editing, see the bottom here, the bottom area here, we'll have some toolbars appear in this bottom area. And this is basically telling us where are the position of those toolbar. Do we see it in the left, on the right, on the bottom? Would it be small? Would it be medium, or would it be large? So I can make the options for myself and just click OK, and that's it. Okay, are we still together?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Before we start editing, just to make things easier for ourselves, these are the XY coordinates here at the bottom. We can make it being shown to us in meters. Right now, it's the map units, which is degree, minutes, and seconds, which is the default for the WGS 84 system. We can simply say, make it in meters, and now we have it in meters. So instead of degree, minutes, and seconds, it became units that are measured in meters. Makes it easier to work with. Okay, so just click on it and choose meters from here. And that's how the map will look like, and we can use that while working. Okay. Still on track?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Now we're going to move to another thing. We are going to move to snapping. Okay, while we're working, it's better for us to work with snapping. It makes things easier. And those are the options. Right now, those are the ones chosen, which is basically endpoint snapping. This is the icon for endpoint snapping, and this is the icon for vertex snapping. We can choose point snap. Basically, it will look for the nearest point to make snap to. There is an edge to the polyline, so this is an edge snap, just being close to an edge of a line, any line. So if it's a line from a polygon, a line from a line feature class, if I'm close to the segment of the line, it will snap to that line, and then I can just click and add a point. This is an edge to an intersection. So if we have an intersection of two lines, this is the snap to the edge. This is the snap to the midpoint. So if I have a segment, this is the midpoint of the segment, and I can snap to the midpoint. And this is a tangent snapping. This has to do with working with arcs and curved sides. So basically, we usually work with both of those, vertex snapping and endpoint snapping, and sometimes we use also the edge snapping. It's rather useful in certain situations. If I click here, snapping will work. Snapping will be turned on. So just clicking on the top button here, snapping is now on. So after I draw my first polygon, snapping will start from there. Okay, so this is the first step for snapping, but it's not the only step. Remember the contents? In the contents tab, we have we have a tab for the snapping, list by snapping, and I can click on that. And you can see I can snap to streets and I can snap to buildings, right? I have two options. I can snap to both of them. Once we start drawing streets and polygons for buildings, let's say we're right now drawing the polygons for the buildings. I can't snap to the streets. I don't want any snapping done to the streets. So to make sure that nothing wrong goes while I'm working, I'm going to turn off snapping to streets. So now that means that only the polygons for the buildings would allow snapping. Anything else will not work. And since we're starting right now, I'm going to start by drawing the buildings. So just to make sure, I know there is no streets drawn now. It will be drawn later, but just to keep the hassle to a minimum, I'm just turning off snapping to the streets. Snapping is done to only to the buildings. Okay, so I make the choice here and go back to the view of the order from the contents. Okay. Okay, so we're going to start editing now. Still with me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Since I already enabled that button, I have to click on it to work. If you haven't enabled it, you'd find that everything here is already lighted up, and you can just click on it. So we have create and modify. Of course, nothing is drawn, so modify has no meaning. We have to create. Okay, so click on create. And once you click on it, you come here to this pan and you find that it moved from catalog to something called create features. Okay, it moved from catalog to create features, and it has both features. It have the streets, the Luxor, and it has Luxor build, and it has the streets. It's ready to be to allow me to draw both of them. If I don't want both of them to appear and make any complications, I can return to the street pan and simply turn it off. Yes, Munir?
I cannot press on create or modify. So grayed out.
Did you press on edit?
No, I did.
Press on edit. Yes. Once you enable that button, once you enable the button for the edits, as I did, you cannot start using any of the tools of the edit toolbar, anything beyond snapping, unless you click on edit. So when you click on edit, they will all light up and you start working. If you de-enable the button, if you go back to the options and de-enable the button, once you open the edit bar, everything is light up and you can just work with it. As I said before, I'm a bit of an old school. I prefer having it. It makes me comfortable. That's it. So if you don't want it, just remove it and work normally. Okay, so when we check on click, I have the create. I have the create ban open up for me, and now because I turned off streets, I only have the Luxor build available for me. If I turn streets back on, I have it here, and I can also draw streets. So just to avoid any confusion, I turn off what I'm not going to draw. If I'm not going to make an edit to this layer, just turn it off and have the one you're working with on. Just click on it, and it will open up this bar for us. So this is the bar we have, and we have here, as we see, we can start by drawing a polygon. We can make an autocomplete. We'll check what autocomplete means later. We can make a right angle polygon if we want. We can make a circle, a rectangle, or a square. It's a rectangle. If you click shift while drawing, it becomes a square. We can make an ellipse. We can make a freehand. So basically, whatever we want to draw. We have the autocomplete for the freehand as well, if you're drawing with a freehand. And we have trace. Of course, nothing is drawn here, so we can't make a trace. We'll start by the basic, which is the polygon. Now, as you see, when I clicked on that, a new toolbar appeared at the bottom. See the toolbar at the bottom? Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, this toolbar wasn't there before. It's just an addition because I clicked on this. Just because I clicked on Luxor Build and I see this menu, I get a toolbar down here. If you don't have this magnifying option, this is another option. This is another option that you can get from the setting. If you check the settings, when we were talking about settings, click on it. In the user interface, there is magnify toolbar. And because I have magnify toolbar, just because when I come to any of those icons, it just magnifies in front of me. If you don't like it, if it's too much, just unclick it and it's back to normal. It just light up when you're moving on top of it, and that's it. If you're done with editing here and you don't want a mistake, you just cancel or discard and it will open. Aya? Ayat?
Yes, Doctor. We can edit layer without the shapefile, without create shapefile.
This is a geodatabase. This is a feature class. We have to have a feature class to start editing in. It doesn't matter if it's a feature class from a geodatabase or from a shapefile, but you have to have something to draw on. Okay.
Yes.
So this is the one I'm drawing on. Okay. So I'm going to start drawing now. I'm going to take the basic. I'm going to draw a polygon. I'm going to zoom in anywhere. So zoom in here. If I click on the scroll, I can start making pans and I can basically start drawing. Since I'm drawing buildings, I can actually say, okay, this is the building. Here, here, here. Now, as you see, the building is done and I want to go out of that order. The easiest way is just press F2 on your keyboard. And now a new polygon has been added. Ayat, still have a question?
No, I know my hand.
So once I'm done with drawing any of those polygons, I can simply click F2, press F2 on my keyboard, and this is done. As you said, as you see, when I finish drawing, I can't see the image anymore. It's basically covered by the polygon that I've drawn, and with digitizing, it might be confusing. I might like to see that. So one of the things that we do is let's change the symbology. So this symbology, this opaque violet color is not usable for me. So I can simply right click on it and go to symbology. I will open the symbology tab and simply choose something more usable. So something like this, for example, and instead of black, red, 2 points,
Okay.
align to map, apply.
Sorry, how did you open the symbology map? Like
Right
bar?
click on the feature and go to symbology. It will open the tab or the band, sorry, the symbology band. So once the symbology band is opened, you have it here as single symbol, and this is the symbol. I just clicked on the symbol, and this opens that. It opens originally in this gallery. You can choose whatever you like, whatever symbol you like. So not to make it complicated, I chose this black outline, but I don't like it to be black while drawing. So I go to properties. So from gallery, just flick it to properties, and I change the black into red.
Okay.
I just change the black into red. And now I have only an outline that is red and nothing in the middle. Once I applied that, this is how it looks. And if I clear the selection, now this is selected. If I clear the selection, this is how it looks. So with me drawing more and more polygons, I will be still able to see the image, the satellite image under what I'm drawing. So it makes it easier for us to make sure that we're not making mistakes or error while working. Okay. So this is what I have drawn right now. And if I want to check the attribute table, which is also a possibility for us, I can come here, see attributes. Can you see attribute here on the top?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, just click attributes. And this will open a new pane for us, which is attributes. Okay, just select the polygon that you just drew. And this is the polygon that I drew. It shows here in the attribute. This is its XY, so it doesn't matter for me, but this is what matters. See the attribute. It is residential, the default, the value that I already added, and it's already highlighted. So it's the default is residential, and the default height is 5. If I want to change that, I can, for example, come here and says, okay, I don't want that 5, I want it 3. I know that the data here is 3, so I just click on it and it's 3. And I don't want that as a residential. I want that as a mixed-use building. So I click on it and it's mixed-use building. And after I'm done, you see here at the bottom, there is cancel and apply. So always click on apply and it's this data is applied. Okay.
I selected the attributes, but it didn't show anything in the right column.
In the right, it didn't show
It
what
shows
the
a
menu.
pop-up. It shows a pop-up window that
Pop-up.
it's differently.
Well, what were you doing? And it showed pop-up.
Just selecting. Just selected the.
No, selecting from here. Just click the select. Don't drop the menu. Just click the select up here, and click on the polygon that you've drawn, and it will be selected. And once it's selected with the attribute open, with the attribute ban open, you will see its attributes.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, working?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great. So right now this is working. We already have that. And what I'm going to do now is start drawing more and more polygons. Let's say to draw this block or something like that, and check how it looks like. Okay, so we enter the data here, and I'm going to continue drawing the rest. So I'm going to go back to create, click on it. It will switch me directly to the create pane. Choose it, and now we have an option. See, I already drew a polygon, but am I going to draw a polygon, or am I going to autocomplete polygon? See, this polygon is already drawn, and whatever building I'm going to draw now is actually adjacent to that. It's actually one building. It's not a different building or something like that. The difference in height between this one and this one, but they are all adjacent buildings. So it's easier to choose autocomplete. Once you choose autocomplete, I will start drawing from here. See, the snapping is working. As I work here, just snaps to the vertices. So I'm choosing that vertices and moving to the next part. And here, now Now here we have a problem. If I zoom in, it wants to choose that one, but the correct one is that. So how do I do that? How do I correct that? I go back to snapping. I told you before, snapping to an edge is useful. That's why it's useful. I choose snap to the edge. Okay. And I come back, and now I can snap to the edge of the building. Of course, I can snap to the edge of building, but I can also snap like this, and it will be wrong. I mean, the building doesn't look like that, and it's supposed to be parallel. Those lines supposed to be parallel. Those lines are supposed to be perpendicular to each other. So if I want to correct that, usually, or make it right, usually I right-click while I'm still drawing, and now I have options. And you see those options: parallel, perpendicular. I have the option to make the lines parallel or make the lines perpendicular. The easier now is to choose the line to be perpendicular. And you see, now it only allows me to draw as a perpendicular line. So I choose it to be perpendicular. Okay, now it's a perpendicular line, and I will press F2, and it will directly draw the common edge. This is why I said we'll draw always using autocomplete. The system will complete the difference directly. Okay. Did you get that, bot?
Yes.
Okay, are we all on the same page? So I'm going to continue drawing the next polygon. So it's like this, this, and another F2, and we continue. So I have this polygon, and then the next. Okay, and this one. So I'm just drawing 3 sides, and on the 4th side, I press F2, and the autocomplete just draws the common edge. There is a gap here. There's no building here, or no, there's a very short building here. If you check the shadow, there is a very short building here. There's a higher building here and something here that looks like 1-story building or something like that. So it's a very short building. So I'm just going to draw it like this. Now this is a bigger building, because it's not just 2 sides. So I mean, it's basically from this side of the street to that side of the street. It's not just facing the street. So this is a bit tricky, but we usually draw this like that. Oh, sorry. I'm going to discard it because I was drawing this while I'm still on autocomplete, and there is nothing to complete here. So I'm going to choose that I'm drawing a new polygon and start drawing the polygon. Okay. Now, as you see, this polygon is not touching. Now it's basically different from the ones here. It's like there's a street in this area, but there's actually no street. It's simply the difference in the height. Those buildings has a certain height, and of course there is a huge drop in height in this one, and those have a much higher building, and we can see here the side of the building. So what we usually do is, after we draw this, is we move it so that it would coincide with that. It's a bit quick and dirty, but it gets the job done when we are digitizing. There's still another take about cleaning up the drawing and something like that, but we're first just trying to draw everything. So before I move this, because all this are on the same at the same height, I'm going to continue drawing this this block first, so that I can move them together. This one, that one, and I think there is a street here, so we'll stop at that. And I have to move those to coincide with this. Now, moving them to coincide with something means that I'm going to make a modification. It's no longer creation. So I have to choose this toolbar, which is the modify. So sorry, this button, which is the modify button. Okay, still with me?
Yes.
No one gave up? Still here, still working?
Yes, I have a question. The F2 is not working.
The what is not working?
Like when I end drawing the polygon,
F2, yeah.
the F2 is not working, and I have a exclamation mark and red text on the right bar. The F2 is not working.
Okay.
I will just read the.
Let's say that I'm drawing this now. Okay, I'm drawing that, and I want to close, and I can't make the F2 working for any reason. I can just right click and I have finish. So right click and I have finished. So just click on finish and it will be done.
I have a message calling auto complete failed.
Ah, autocomplete. Is there a polygon that you autocomplete against?
Yes.
There's a polygon that you autocomplete against,
but the snap is not active. Does that affect it?
Ah, no, yes, this affects it, of course.
Okay.
You have to have the snap because you check when I'm drawing. Let's see it like this. When I'm drawing this line, I'm drawing starting from this endpoint.
Okay.
Whatever I'm drawing here, so it's just we're doing a trial here, and I'm taking here to here. So this is where I need to snap to, so that this would be the common edge. But if I make it like this, for example, there is no common edge yet, and if I press F2, it basically doesn't know how to press F2.
Exactly.
It would say autocomplete failure because it's not coinciding with this. But if I make a new vertices and now I'm coinciding with this polygon, once I press F2, it works.
Thank you.
So the snapping must, you can do any autocomplete if the snapping is not working. And quite frankly, don't try to do any editing work without snapping working. Snapping is very helpful.
Okay.
Especially with drawing all those polygons and so on, to make sure that everything coincides with each other and so on. Okay, so now we're talking about moving to modify. So I'm going to click on modify. Okay, and this opens another band for me, which is the modify band. And as I said, there is many tools in the modify band. There is too many tools in the modify band, and they are actually divided into categories. And you can check on the help for the different categories because there are too many. And quite frankly, I've never used all of them. I maybe use the first group and maybe the transform, the edit vertices, the reshape. I use the reshape a lot, the trimming, the extend, the fillet. We use those a bit. Going down here, when we go to construct, sometimes we use the buffer, but the rest, actually, no, we don't. It's not every day that you have to use it. So maybe you use the validate sometimes if you have validation rules working on. So we use it sometimes, but there are many options for modification, and it depends on what you're working with. And you actually have it. You see all tools, and then you have my tools. You actually can choose what are your favorites and add it here. Now, because I'm not choosing anything, everything is here. But I can choose what will be my favorites and keep them there so that I'm not confused with all the tools. Okay, right now we're going to make a move. So I'm going to move all those polygons so they will coincide with this one. So first I'm going to select them all. So basically just open a window, select them. So from here, open a window and select them, and then click on move. Okay, and as you see, they made something like a center of gravity for the entire thing, and I can move from the center of gravity or just come to the edge here and start moving the thing. Zooming would be helpful here. And of course, as you see, once I move it right, they will not coincide right, and I have to make some more edits so that they both have the same edge. So I'm going to get it here, and then we'll make another modify. So this one is done. The first move is done, and now I'm going to modify the edge for this polygon so that it coincides with the edge of the other polygon. So I'm going to select that on its own. And then, as you see here, we have a couple of options. I can edit vertices. If I click on that, it basically tells me those are the vertices of what I'm drawing. This is vertex 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and I have them here. Of course, editing also gives me the idea that I can right click on something and say add a vertex. So I can just add a vertex here and move it so that it coincides with this one. And I can make the same thing. I can make the same thing here, right click, add another vertex, and of course you see when it confuses the data a bit. By the way, undo works here. If you make a Control-Z or something like that, it will work until we save the data. So I'm going to add a vertex here, closer. Just come here, right click, and add a vertex and make the vertex coincide. Now they are the same edge. And if I stop, this is how it looks. There's some editing that I might have to do to edit it, but it still works. Maybe I'd have to reshape it or something like that. But anyways, I have the entire thing drawn. And once I'm done, or we're not done yet, but we have drawn a bit, and I want to make sure that I'm not losing what I'm drawn or so on. So I would go here. You see, I have save and discard. If I click discard now, because I haven't clicked on save at all while I'm working, everything that I have drawn will be erased. Everything from polygon 1 to the end, all that will be erased. If I click discard, it will be erased. Save, it will save everything. So I'll click save. It will give me a confirmation. You really want to save? Yes, I want to save. And so this data is saved. Okay. Now we can check on it one by one. As you recall, I said we usually do that, and then let's check the attributes. So for this building, for example, this building is too low. All the buildings have a certain height, but this one is only 1-story building. So I'm going to click on it, go to the attributes, and check on it. Okay, so this is a 1-story building. This is not 5, and it's not a residential. I mean, not a residential that low. So it's a commercial, and apply it. And now it's a commercial building, and that's it. I can go forward. For example, those buildings had a bigger height than the others, so I'm going to select them and see when I'm selected them. Basically, he's asking me which building I'm going to edit. This one, or that one, or that one. You see when I'm clicking on them on the attribute band here, and they light up in the map view. Now I can change each one of them individually, but if I know that all of them, let's say, are 10-story buildings, and I want to change all 3 of them together, instead of clicking on them here, I will simply click here. See, once I click here, see how that is different. The object ID is different values, different values, different values, and those are the commons. Okay, These are the actual values. So this building is number 10, and this is the length, this is the area. This building is number 9, this is the length, this is the area, this building is 8, and so on. But once I click up here, all of them, I'm basically taking them in common, and I'm going to say all of those buildings are 10-story buildings. Okay, and it will be applied to all of them. So now if I choose one of them alone, it's a 10-story building. The next one is also a 10-story building. That one is a 10-story building. Okay, still with me?
Yes.
Yes, so basically this is what we do when we're in edit session. This is how we are doing it. And once we are done, as I said, we can say save or discard. Let's check what we do if we made a discard. So let's say, for example, I'm going to also choose this building. I'm going to delete it. They'll ask me if you want to delete. Yes, I'm going to delete. I'm going to delete that as well. Okay, so I made changes to the attribute field here. I deleted 2 polygons that I did, and then I'm going to say discard. And everything is back. And if I check the attribute table for those, see, it's back to 5-story high. This also is 5, this also is 5. So that's why if I'm not sure, if I'm not sure of an edit I did, or I find that something is wrong, by the way, there is something big wrong with this one. And okay, this is wrong. I made an edit and oh, it didn't work. So I will just say discard and then redo it again to make the right edits. That's why I say when you make an edit, you make sure that this edit is okay and everything is running right. Save it so that when you move on to the next step and something wrong happens, and it will happen, you can simply just say discard and then redo that edit again. Okay, so we actually, while in an edit session, we usually move between save and discard a lot. So you are sure the edit is right, save it. Because the next time you make an edit and it's not right, and sometimes you will not be able to make an undo because it will not work every time. You can't do an undo. As you see here, check the undo, what the undo is. Undo the symbology. It's actually telling me that it will undo the symbology. The symbology that I did 20 minutes ago. This is what it will undo, not what I'm doing right now. So that's why I'm saying, if you're sure that your edit is right, save it, because the next moment you might make a mistake for any reason while making an edit and you want to discard that edit. So it will be easier if you just click discard and redo the edits. Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is that because of the edit session button, or like if we did not?
That is the default.
Okay.
Think of it like this: the edit session button that I'm adding here. This is not the default. I'm adding it to have more security. Call it paranoia, OCD, or it just makes me comfortable that it's here. So I'm making it here. But even if it's not here, those buttons are the important ones: save and discard. So if you're doing anything, you're sure it's right, save. You're sure something is wrong or you did something wrong, just discard it and restart. And that's why I'm saying, once you discard something, you can actually do a lot of things. You might I have seen it before. I've seen people that maybe drew something like this entire block, this entire super block. You find someone who drew everything and entered all the data, and there is a mistake someplace, and they didn't save. They clicked discard by mistake or something, and everything is done. So that until you actually click save, nothing is saved to your database. We think of it in this way: this is the catalog ban, and this is our database. Until I click save, nothing is saved to the database. This is just me looking at the view. Until I click save, and it's actually saved to my database, saved to my files, and I can move on.
Okay. So it's better not to have a very long session before saving, like to save.
Yeah,
it
of
and then-
course. Of
Okay.
course. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Whatever edit you have done, you're sure the edit's right, just save it and move to the next, and so on. Don't wait until you're finished with everything and then save. You don't know what will happen. Okay.
Thank you.
So those are the basic tools. As we say, you have the create, and if you check here, you find that all the bands that are open are still open. So create is here, modify is here, and attribute is here. They were already open, so they will remain open until I close them specifically. So until I choose to close them specifically, they will remain open. And of course, if I click on them again on create, modify, or attribute, they will open automatically. So it's not something to worry about. And we have, of course, the group of the tools that we use. Most of them are the tools in modify, but we have them all here. We can check them all if you click like this. And those are all the tools that we have. You can choose them from there and move on. Usually we don't do that, but maybe we do for those guys, move, scale, and rotate. They're easier. Just click it here and just move on.
Okay. Just a quick question, because some of us might have meetings afterwards. So when will
I think we're done. No, I think we're done. I will just I just wanted to check with you this. We created a database. We made a domain. We started drawing and editing data. You will have to do some of that on your own later on the tutorials. But this is the basic what we're going to do. I will move now. Maybe stop sharing this and check on the tutorials that you have to do next time. Okay. Okay, I already sent you the link for that, so we don't need that. Okay. So yes, just give me a second. Just a second. I will send you the different links. So this is the first tutorial that you have to do this time, and it has to do with getting started with data management, the types of data that we have, working with vectors and rasters and tables and so on. So this is the first one. Where is the chat box? So that's the first one. That the second time, yes, working with mapping and visualizations. Okay, so the different types of mapping, visualization, symbology, and so on. And this is not really an exercise. The one I'm sharing now, it's called ArcPro Editing Essentials. It's actually a 1-hour video. Esri is this one is updated until version 2.5, I think. They still have to make one for 3.1, but they haven't made it. So what they have here is a video about the different functions of editing and so on. It's a 1-hour video, 95 minutes and 30 seconds, I think. So you can also listen to it. It's useful. Now, these are the small tutorials. The 10 minutes to the last two were something like I'm not sure. Can you see it? Yes, 1 hour 25, 1 hour and a half, something like that. Those are 10-minute tutorials. The coming ones are 10-minute tutorials. So this is one where you actually have data from 2 different coordinate systems. They should coincide with each other, but because they have 2 different coordinate systems, when you open them, they don't coincide. And how do you reproject the data so that they will coincide with each other. This is working with joining tabular data. So the join and relate will be shown in this one. And this has something to do with manipulating the attribute table. You have too many fields, and how do you deal with that? How do you close some up, open some up? How do you highlight something, and so on, so that you can see the data more concisely? And they are all something like 10-15. The last 3 ones are just 10-15 minute exercises, so they are short, maybe all together half an hour, and the rest will have 1 hour 15 or 1 hour 25 for the first 2 exercises. And I said the one with the editing is actually a video, so just a video to watch and get the knowledge from the video. Okay. If you have any more questions. No questions?
No.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Monem, for this
Oh, thank
very
you for your time.
extensive session. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so go through them tomorrow, and if you have any questions, we can start the session the next time by talking about them. Our next time on Thursday. We will be talking about spatial analysis. This is a bit of a heavy topic, but we have to go through it. We'll go through the basics of spatial analysis. We'll do some exercise, a small thing to just try it. And then we are going to talk in the second half of our session about some of the basics of spatial statistics and some of other tools besides ArcGIS Pro that are available, that has to do with spatial analysis in general, and not just pure, well, I can't say pure GIS, because anything spatial analysis has to do with GIS, but maybe not just ArcGIS Pro. There are suites of programs out there that has to do with many aspects of the spatial analysis. And we're going to have a quick view of what programs are out there and what they do, and their main focus, so that if any one of you in his research finds something that is more compatible with what with his interests, they can focus on it later on. So thank you, and
Thank
see
you
you
so
on
much,
Thursday.
Abdul Monem.